Welcome to the Ellis Martin Report right here on Money Talk Radio, where global markets, critical minerals, and the future of energy transition converge. Today's spotlight takes us to Saskatchewan, Canada, where a powerful three-nation collaboration is taking shape between Canada, South Korea, and Australia, reshaping the lithium supply chain from the ground up. At the center of it is Prairie Lithium, trading on the ASX as PL9 and on the OTC in the US as PLIXF, advancing one of North America's most significant lithium brine development projects using Direct Lithium Extraction technology. Joining me is Zach Maurer, CEO of Prairie Lithium, who is leading the company's push toward commercial lithium production and global supply chain integration. Partnered with Prairie Lithium is Hydro Lithium Incorporated of South Korea, led by Dr. Uong Chon, a battery materials technologist and lithium processing pioneer whose career has focused on developing commercial-scale lithium extraction and refining systems now feeding Asia's advanced battery markets. And anchoring the upstream development side of the story is Australia, through Prairie Lithium's ASX-listed platform, bringing Australian capital markets, technical expertise, and project development discipline into a North American resource build-out. With all parties on the ground together in Saskatchewan, this Canada-South Korea Australia alignment represents a new model for secure lithium supply chains, integrating extraction, processing, and downstream battery markets into a single strategic corridor. This is the Ellis Martin Report on Money Talk Radio, and this is the future of lithium development. Zach, Dr. Chon, welcome to the program. It's great to visit with you today.
Yeah, thanks for having us back, Ellis. Happy to be here.
Okay, thank you.
I've always been intrigued. I haven't really, in my research over the years, I haven't taken a deep dive into it. I know Saskatchewan is known for potash, and through the course of my relationship with Prairie, I've learned about lithium brine in Saskatchewan, and then I delved deeper into direct lithium extraction. But my question for you, Dr. Chon, is having many years of experience in the space in Chile, Argentina, Bolivia, Tibet, Russia. How did you land on Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan is located in Canada, as you know, and Canada has a very stable and predictable systems. And also, Saskatchewan has enough amount of lithium brine to start the commercial production of lithium. That's why I'm here.
Have you worked with direct lithium extraction before, DLE, let's say in Argentina?
Yeah, sure. There's two kind of direct lithium extraction. One is absorption technique. The other is chemical precipitation technique. I invented direct lithium extraction technique using the chemical precipitation.
You invented the technology. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that, Zach. Why didn't you tell me that sooner?
Yeah, no, it's been a great week having Dr. Chon here in person in Saskatchewan and learning even more about his background in person and his experience all the way back in 2010 working on different lithium extraction methods. And he just showed us a photo of him. Was that in Argentina or Chile?
Yeah.
With a sign from 2013, lithium extraction, direct lithium extraction, all the way back in 2013. So he's got an incredible experience in the space. Very fortunate to have him as a part of our project now and working with Hydro Lithium.
How important is it to travel around the world, especially being based in Canada like you are, Zach? You've built relationships with Australia. Your managing director, Paul Lloyd, has built a relationship with offtake users in Southeast Asia and the APAC region. That could have been done without all these modules put together.
Really, the beauty of the technology that Dr. Chon and Hydro Lithium are bringing to our project is those years of experience down in South America on different brines and very challenging brines. And he got looking at our flow sheet and quality of brine and eluates that we can produce, and his expertise in the downstream processing capacity and converting those brines and eluates into a very high quality battery lithium chemical. And that's ultimately what Hydro Lithium does every day in South Korea. Is they operate their battery grade refinery in South Korea. These flow sheets are really just large chemical equations, and the more experience you have on working with them, definitely the more knowledgeable you are in terms of understanding what's the most efficient and effective way to do it. And that's, again, we're just very happy to be partnered with Dr. Chon and Hydro Lithium because his expertise on the downstream processing capacity and making a very high quality product is going to be extremely beneficial to our project here in Saskatchewan.
Dr. Chon, Zach has an extensive background in oil and gas. The infrastructure in Saskatchewan is set up for that. Was that a factor when you decided to do business with this company?
Sure. Prairie Lithium, especially Jack has very much experience to take brine out of the surface and from the deep underground. And then we have the technology, chemical technology to process brine. And I think, working together with Prairie Lithium is very much helpful for our project, I think.
Now, you're already producing battery-grade lithium. What standards must Prairie Lithium meet to supply you? Clearly, they've already been met, but what are they?
Prairie Lithium, they're getting the brines for me to process. And I think, Saskatchewan brine is good enough to produce battery grade lithium chemicals, I think.
How scalable is this project in Saskatchewan, Zach?
It's incredibly scalable. Prairie Lithium drilled the first lithium brine well in Canada in September of 2021. There's been numerous companies getting involved in the space ever since, and lots more wells drilled for exploration ever since we kicked off this industry. The last time I looked, when I pulled in all the public companies and their resource disclosure reports, I think it's something like 9.2 million tons of a really high quality lithium brine has been discovered in southeast Saskatchewan. But as any good geologist knows, we've just probably scratched the surface in terms of what the total tonnage potential of this resource could be in the province. There is a significant amount of brine still to be explored and delineated and ultimately developed. And we believe that this could be a significant industry for Saskatchewan moving forward.
Are you the only player in the space in Saskatchewan, Zach?
We're not the only player anymore. For a long time, we were the only active developer. But again, over the last number of years, there has been some other companies get involved and start to drill wells and understand what their resource potential could be on their lands. We are by far the largest player here in southeast Saskatchewan with our mineral acreage and our resource size. But by far the first mover and the largest, but we're not the only ones in town anymore.
But you're probably the most significant because of the technology, the proprietary technology that Dr. Chon has developed.
We like to think so, and certainly our project is the most advanced from our perspective. We can defend that as well because we are the only lithium brine project that's permitted to establish commercial production in all of Canada. So we really do stand out there, and then having our offtake in place and understanding that we can produce a very high quality battery grade material and get that into the South Korean supply chain and ultimately further downstream into the battery materials supply chain. Now, given our relationship with Hydro Lithium, we do fancy ourselves as the furthest along.
So Hydro Lithium is taking all of your offtake, correct?
That's correct.
What about vertical integration? At some point in the future, Dr. Chon, do you see yourself acquiring Prairie Lithium?
Yeah.
That was a quick answer. You said, yep. Okay, we don't have to talk about the timeline in that, and I can move on. When do you start shipping lithium concentrate to Seoul?
So as part of our meetings here this week, we've been going through those project steps. We're targeting to have our commercial demonstration plant producing our first initial shipments of lithium here in 2026. That is still our target for our demonstration scale of the project.
How are you capitalized to continue stepping out?
Having sold our project down in Arizona this past year, we are in a sufficient cash position to continue to execute on our critical path items for development here. Obviously, we're putting up the initial portion of the facility here this winter and then working on a number of different avenues for additional financing to fund production and ultimately larger scale out.
And Dr. Chon, I imagine you're still involved in Argentina and Chile. What percentage of your production in the future do you estimate that Prairie Lithium will be contributing to?
I will concentrate on the production of lithium in North America. I'm very interested in production of lithium in North America these days, and then I'd like to collaborate with Prairie Lithium to produce lithium in Canada.
Okay, that's a very big statement. Zach, are you stepping out of Saskatchewan at all? Is all the production going to be there for Prairie? Or are you going to hit the Hard Rock area in Quebec and Ontario? What are the plans for the company going forward?
Our immediate plans are definitely we need to focus on getting this Prairie Lithium project into production and get it scaling up as quickly as possible. And then it's well known we do have an exploration property down in New Mexico, Lordsburg, that is still part of our company portfolio. And we're always paying attention to what's happening in the market in terms of how other projects are changing hands. The lithium price, which I'm sure we're going to talk about here on this call as well. So we are always paying attention to other valuable projects projects that are out there in the market, but our immediate plan is to remain focused on getting this project into production and scaling this project up, but being mindful of what else is happening in the market.
New Mexico has a strong oil and gas infrastructure. Is that one of the reasons you have held on to it and plan on developing it in the future?
Yeah, it's a fairly prospective property. It was actually acquired by Managing Director Paul Lloyd prior to my participation in Arizona Lithium. It is a property that, we definitely are looking at and understanding what we can do with it.
Baseline for lithium prices right now is fairly strong, and it's strong enough to bring money into the sector, new interest by investors, institutional and retail. How has that affected your calculus and going forward? It must be a bit easier to raise money.
Yeah, since the last time we spoke in mid-December, I think the price of lithium has doubled, which makes conversations with the investment community and shareholders much easier. Amongst the lithium industry, there is kind of a baseline incentive price that people like to toss around of $20,000 per ton to really start to spur investment into the space again. And we crossed that threshold last week. I think the spot price today, depending which index you follow, is going to be around $22,000 US dollars per ton. So we're well across that investment threshold. And now a lot of the conversations are being restarted and are being had. So yeah, we hope the price obviously not just maintains where it's at, but obviously continues to increase, given that the demand year over year is continuing to grow. The demand for lithium has not gone away and is not going away, and finally starting to see that reflective in the price again.
So there's no way it's going away. It will always be a part of the growth of EVs in the future and anything related to battery technology.
Yeah, and not just even EVs. A lot of the data that came out towards the end of 2025 directly relates some of the largest demand growth to battery energy systems for grid reliability of data centers. It's an area that Dr. Chon is very familiar with. And then I think even last night there was some very exciting news out of South Korea with some breakthroughs in lithium solid state batteries for Samsung. So we're just continuing to see the space get more and more momentum in terms of where that demand could come from.
Dr. Chon, what is the future of your company beyond what we've been talking about? What are your goals 5-10 years out?
We are producing the battery grade, very high purity lithium chemicals now, and we would like to involve in the producing lithium from natural resources, the Prairie Lithium, and we'd like to get full chain of the supply from natural resources to battery grade chemicals.
So you see a lot of growth in your company as well.
Yeah.
Certainly, the price of the equities does not match the price of the commodity right now. There's a huge disparity between that. Do you expect that gap to close, Zach?
I would hope so. The producers, we've seen their stock prices move up, and this cycle in lithium is similar to the last cycle that we experienced in the early 2020s. The producers that have active production move first, and then that starts to trickle through to the junior companies. So we're optimistic that we'll see that happen again here this go around.
What kind of government incentives are available to you, whether they come from Canada or South Korea?
So at a provincial level, the province has been fantastic to work with on all investment incentives. We've actively accessed the critical mineral processing investment incentive. That to our company for Pad 1 alone is valued at about $21 million in transferable royalty credits that we can sell for cash. There's other non-dilutive funding programs available that we've utilized in Saskatchewan. And then when we look at the federal level, there's multiples of billions of dollars set up to help develop critical minerals, and lithium being identified as one of the main critical minerals, whether that be through Canada Growth Fund or the Export Development Canada or the Business Development Bank of Canada. There seems to be a new fund every couple of months that the government of Canada is really trying to position themselves as a major player in the critical mineral industry, and there's lots happening in that space. And we've had a lot of good meetings here even this week, getting Dr. Chon introduced to a lot of the Canadian counterparts with Invest in Canada, a lot of the local provincial ministers, the Minister of Trade and Export and Development, and the Minister of Energy and Resources. So yeah, we've got a lot in motion on government relations.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today in the program. We look forward to our next conversation, and good luck to you both.
Thank you, Ellis.
Thank you.
That's a look at a truly global lithium collaboration. Prairie Lithium trading on the ASX as PL9 and in the US on the OTC as PLIXF. Under CEO Zach Maurer, working alongside South Korea's Hydro Lithium, led by CEO Dr. Uong Chon, with Australian capital markets and technical expertise supporting development and scale. With Canada providing the resource base, South Korea delivering advanced processing and battery-grade refining, and Australia anchoring capital markets and project development, this is a fully fully integrated three-nation lithium supply chain built for energy security and long-time demand. And we're proud to introduce Prairie Lithium to our group of investors here in the United States through its OTC listing, as the company advances toward commercial production and global market integration. From the Ellis Martin Report on Money Talk Radio, thank you for listening, and stay with us as we continue to spotlight the companies, commodities, and collaborations shaping the future of critical minerals and energy metals.